أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر صدق الله العظيم. Surah Al-Kauthar is, as we all know, the shortest surah in the Quran Kareem, only 3 ayat. Surah Al-Kauthar was revealed in the incident of the revelation of Surah Al-Kauthar. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam, one day whilst he was sitting, he smiled. So the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, the best students, thirsty for knowledge at all times, asked Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam, why are you smiling, Ya Rasulullah? So he said that right now at this moment the revelation of Surah Al-Kauthar was revealed unto Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that was revealed to me right now. And Al-Kauthar, in this riwayah, in this narration, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam explains, he says this refers to a river that is given to me from Jannah. A river that is from Jannah, that will come at the day, and it will come into a fountain also at the day of judgment in the mahshar, where everyone will be gathered. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow the ummah of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam to drink from this hawd, from this fountain, from this pond, however you want to imagine it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow us to drink from that. And this is what is mentioned in the hadith. And very importantly, it's also mentioned in the hadith that this pond, aniyatuhu adadul kawakib, that the amount of vessels, or the amount of utensils that will be used for each people, for people to drink from, that will be abundant. And if someone thinks that there will be this pond and there will be the entire ummah of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Brothers, if you want to listen, please sit. Otherwise, please leave.
आज गर्मी है काफ़ी बार, असर का वक्त वैसे भी होता है. So anyway, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, so he said that aniyatu adadul kawakib, the amount of vessels and utensils that will be there available for people to drink from, will be the amount of the stars. Meaning there will be numerous, that a person doesn't need to worry about, will I get my chance, will I not get my chance. Inshallah, those that will be true believers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow them to drink from this hawd of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. However, there is a very, very important clause to this. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in the same hadith, he says that there will be some people that they will try to come and they will try to drink from this hawd, but the malaika will be pushing them away. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will say, this is my ummati, why are you pushing him away? Let him come, let him drink. So then the malaika will reply that you don't know ma ahdathu ba'daka, you don't know what bid'at and what innovations they created after you. That because when you left the ummah, and these people, they made bid'at and innovations in the deen that you brought, the pristine deen that you left, they made innovations in this, and because of this they will be mahroom, they will not be able to drink from this hawd of yours. So we make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saves us from bid'at and innovations in deen. It's very important to understand what exactly is considered to be bid'ah. When we say innovation, bid'ah, what is a bid'ah? So bid'ah, as the ulama explain, is al-ihdath fid deen. That a person makes something a part of deen, something which is not part of deen to consider it to be deen, something which is not ibadah to consider it to be ibadah, something which is at a certain level and to put it above that level. Something, for example, is preferable, it should be done, it's good, something good, but another person insists upon it, they know you must do it. So make something mustahab preferable into wajib, for example, necessary. That is also considered bid'ah. Why? Because a person is giving a status of something which is not in deen, what is not the status of that, to be of a higher nature. So that is considered to be bid'ah. And other things that we do are not considered bid'ah. The ulama will explain, this is called al-ihdath lid-deen. That sometimes things are made to facilitate the actions of our deen. For example, how we see that there are schools and madaris, all of these things functioning, that if someone says that where were all these big madaris and there were this curriculum that you set, where does all this come? No one says that is a necessity, but what it does is that it facilitates the dissemination of the knowledge of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So those things which are there to assist in the objective, not to consider it to be the objective. Once a person starts considering something which is not the objective to be the objective, then that becomes a bid'ah. Right? So for example, someone says that bring me a sahih hadith, and where this curriculum that has to be 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, that for example Medina University has its curriculum, Azhar University has its curriculum, Darul Deoband has its curriculum. Where is the sahih hadith for this? So obviously no one claimed that it has to be this. What it is that it's a prescription, that you follow this type of prescription so that you attain a certain amount of knowledge in our deen, that this is considered from those that have sunnah of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that there is some confidence in your ilm now, in your knowledge. So this is one example. You can have many other examples that you'll see around us, right? The things that we use day to day, and this we don't consider to be part of deen necessarily, right? What it does is that it facilitates for the deen. Bid'ah is also such an innovation that a person is very difficult to come out of, or if a person he doesn't turn for tawbah for something like this. Why? In the tafsir of وَزَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ وَأَعْمَالَهُم, the Mufassirun mentioned this, that shaitan beautifies an action for a person. So many Mufassirun say that this refers to bid'at, that when a person is doing a bid'ah, he doesn't realize, right? And the person who, for example, drinks, a person who fornicates, he knows what he's doing is wrong. He'll have tawfiq of making tawbah. Why? Because he considers the wrong to be wrong. Only when you consider wrong to be wrong is it possible that you'll be able to do tawbah. But when wrong is considered to be right, then what hope does a person have left anymore? So that's why bid'ah is one of the most critical of the sins that a person can do, and it's not something of lightness. Now, this is just something we do. No, that a person who becomes mahroom of even tawbah many times, unless he realizes what he is doing is wrong. And so from the du'as that we make is, Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqa, that Ya Allah, show us the truth to be the truth. Something can be the truth, but many of us may become blind of that. So that's why the dua is, Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqa, show us the truth to be the truth, as the truth. Wa arina al-batila batila, that show us falsehood, batil, as batil. That shaitan shouldn't beautify it and make it appealing to, that the wrong thing becomes now appealing. The ma'roof becomes munkar, munkar becomes ma'roof. So this was what Nabi Karim, it was in the hadith of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that people will try to also come to the hawd, to the fountain, to the pond of Kauthar, but they will be pushed away. Why? Because they were involved in bid'at and in innovations of within the deen. Another revelation, or rather another sabab, a cause of this, in which context the Surah Kauthar was revealed, is that Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as we know, did not have male progeny that survived. He didn't have male progeny that survived. So what the Quraysh of Mecca, they started saying that if anyone mentioned about Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, say, leave him, don't worry about him, he doesn't have a male progeny, everyone's going to forget about him in a few days. When he passes away, people will forget about him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, many a times, many ayat or surahs were revealed as tasalli, as condolence for Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, to give him strength. That as a human being also, when people continuously say things of this nature, people are not very nice to you, that person emotionally, they're always abusing you, then even as a human being, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would sometimes feel down, so to say. So Rasulullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would send these ayat and verses so that Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gets strength through these ayat. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this surah as a tasalli for Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that this is what they are saying, however, this is what we have for you. That إِنَّا أَعْطَيْنَاكَ الْكَوْثَرَ, that indeed we have given you, O Prophet, Al-Kauthar, or Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Al-Kauthar, the pond, the hawd, the river, or abundant goodness also. In another tafsir, in the same hadith, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he says that the Al-Kauthar, fihi khayrun kathir, in it is great goodness. Al-Kauthar being from the word kathir, to be of abundance. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's saying that we have given you abundant goodness. That these kuffar, these Quraysh, mushrikun, they're saying that no one will remember you and you will be forgotten. That is not going to be the case. You will not be forgotten. Rather, the opposite will happen. And in this, there is mu'jiza of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. that normally, yes, a person is remembered through the family name, and who carries that? Usually it's the male progeny. The male progeny will carry the family name. Despite Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam not having male progeny, today he is probably one of the most known people in the world. Right? All of those people that were against Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, no one knows of them or their names except in a negative connotation. And that also because it forms a part of the seerah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Right? The Abu Jahl is not known because of Abu Jahl, that he was a great leader or anything of that nature, but because he was the enemy of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Only through that he is known. Uqba bin Abi Mu'ayt and all the other leaders of the Quraysh who were prominent in trying to stop the message of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Rather, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this baddu'a, this curse of theirs upon themselves, that no one will remember you. Yeah, if they do remember you, it will be in a bad, in a negative sense. So, إِنَّا أَعْطَيْنَاكَ الْكَوْثَرَ, indeed we have given you abundant goodness. Now, in lieu of this abundant goodness, again, the temperament of nubuwah, that if once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this ni'mah to you, Ya Rasul, how should you, what is the, how do you make the shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala up to this? فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ. So pray to your Lord. فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ, pray to your Lord. وَانْحَرْ, and give charitable offerings to Him alone. Wanhar also referring to the sacrifice that we do of udhiyah. So over here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned two things. Salli li rabbik, salah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning that the greatest of the physical ibadat have been mentioned here. In under salah, all other physical ibadat that we do will also fall under this. فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ, why? Salah is the best, the highest form of the physical ibadat that we do. And wanhar, this is one monetary ibadat that we do, that a person spends. And also in this there is going against the norm of the mushrikun, that they would pray also to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they would slaughter and give sacrifices in the name of other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That they would give certain sacrifices in the name of this of a certain idol, of another of these different idols they had. They would give sacrifices in name of them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ إِنَّ شَانِئَكَ هُوَ الْأَبْتَرُ. As to the one who detests you, detests you, sorry. إِنَّ شَانِئَكَ, shani means the one who hates you, the one who keeps a grudge against you. شَانِئَكَ, those that detest you, هُوَ الْأَبْتَرُ, they will be al-abtar. Abtar is the word they used to use that for the person who doesn't have male progeny, that he is literally, abtar means something which is cut off. So what they mean is that this person's name or this progeny will be cut off, that no one will remember. So that is what they would say, that Rasulullah, that they would say that Muhammad, he doesn't have male progeny, he will be al-abtar. People will forget him. No one's going to know about him in a few years. That right now there's just this hype that he has brought. In a few years people will forget about him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the mu'jiza of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that his name, contrary to the norm, is known today even through his female progeny and through his so to say spiritual progeny, that you and I, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept his followers, and to such an extent that at the day of judgment the most amount of sufuf and rows will be that of the ummah of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this will become apparent, and even these a'da and enemies of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and of Islam, they will also see this, that what we thought, the complete opposite and contrary to that has taken place and in front of us today. The inna shani'aka huwa al-abtar, as to the one who detests you, they are the ones that will be cut off from all goodness, or even that no one will remember them, as the same tafsir that we did, that no one will know them or of their family or who their children are. For example, today, does anyone walk around the world saying that I'm from the progeny of Abu Jahl, I'm from the progeny of... No one says. First of all, no one knows that where his progeny went to, right? And even if it was, no one would be saying that today. Contrary to Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that everyone, those that have even the lightest connection or that might be there, they try to claim that they are Sayyid, which is a different subject. But regardless, the point is that everyone wants to be mansub and connected to Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam somehow. So that is the mu'jiza of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept till today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq.
Doesn't طريقة لو إن شاء الله